Hi, this is my first video that I'm going to be posting on this channel where I'm going to be talking more in like an informal format just to kind of like get it flowing and get my thoughts out. What I found is that for other channels I kind of get into this perfectionistic mode and it kind of kills the flow of a lot of creativity and like the point that I want to get across. So trying this out, I wanted to talk about the use of like the conscious use of caffeine where you know, I have this video on my other channel where I'm talking about you know, how I quit using caffeine, and I have been like pretty much caffeine free for like, you know, years. I mean, it's been a long time since I made the decision to cut it out. And since then I've gone through periods where like, or, you know, just like one-off like days where I use like coffee specifically. And it also happens with chocolate as well, where I can use it like consciously, and I have found that it has been very beneficial, whereas like you don't get those effects to like really like it loses its potency when you're drinking coffee every day. So what ends up happening, and I find this very beneficial in my life, is that like cutting it out as a regular everyday drug that I'm consuming, and then every once in a while when I do use it, I am very purposefully, consciously using it, and I'll talk about like what that looks like a little bit later, but I'm using it in a way that is specific and like for a particular purpose, and it really boosts that intention. And you know, one of the things about that is that I really believe in the power of intention, like being intentional with what you're doing. This is like key in creating like a conscious life, a life like that you're creating, any kind of like law of attraction. Intention is very important with everything that you're doing. And if you want to supercharge your intention using caffeine as like the example of like one drug that can really boost, like, I mean, super boost that intention if it's every once in a while. Again, if you're using caffeine every day, it loses its potency and you're not able to do that anymore. So yeah, maybe like once in a month or once every couple months or something. And you know, there's a lot of like places I could go with this conversation, but one thing that I also wanted to mention is that like it may even be more powerful for people like myself who are like empathic, highly sensitive people. I've noticed that with other drugs, let's talk like, you know, especially psychedelics, very sensitive to that. And I seem to react more strongly than other people. And also just like my nervous system, because of the way that I'm wired, being very sensitive, it's very sensitive to everything. And so for these people, I think, you know, if you've noticed maybe that you react very strongly, or like, I guess a better way of putting this is if coffee can really affect me, which is why I cut it out in the beginning, you know, is like it was creating a lot of anxiety, more anxiety than like I needed to deal with, you know, so it was beneficial for me to cut it out. And so that means that I'm very sensitive to it. And so when I do consciously use it every once in a while, it's like, wow, like I think it probably even has more of an effect on me than other people. Another thing is bulletproof coffee. And that is even more potent as well when I'm like kind of on a low carb diet. So it seems to be affected like differently depending on my diet, but if I'm like mostly low carb, it's like even more powerful. So I'm just kind of like sharing different like tips and like things that I've found to be very helpful. But like one of the things that I, you know, obviously using like coffee or something like that to supercharge an intention like I'm gonna get this thing done is pretty obvious to everybody, and it really does help in a way that, like, I mean, if you don't drink coffee regularly and you consume again, it's like, wow, you realize how incredibly strong and potent it is as a drug. And that can be helpful every once in a while when you really need to get something done, and it takes a lot of energy and effort. Another thing that I've noticed is like energetically, and this is for like highly sensitive people, empaths. I have noticed, and I think I want to talk about this in another video, but being kind of like in connection with my body and being able to connect to the energy flow that's happening within me. This is kind of like something that I've been working on this for a long time, because I have a tendency to be disconnected from the energy flow in my body. And this is something that I didn't even, like, it took me a long time to even realize this was happening. And then another process to try to reconnect. But what can even more kind of, it's almost like once you have the intention of connecting to that energy flow, it kind of like sets something off in your brain where it's like, all right, we have to like rewire the nervous system, and that actually starts the rewiring. And then if you supercharge your intention with more energy, like and caffeine can supercharge that intention, it's putting even more force and energy into that initiation process of, or like development of, creating those neural pathways that have weakened over, you know, the course of your life, of being connected to your energy flow and where you're placing your energy and that kind of thing. So if you need to connect more to your body, or like have a more awareness of the even energy flow, that can really help. Yeah, so that's like just another example of things that I've been noticing has been like very good uses of caffeine every once in a while. You know, every once in a while introducing that drug into your system and then allowing your system to process it out. Yeah, I can't do it every day, because it does affect my body after a while, like the more that I have it in my system. Sorry, phone died. So yeah, the point is that my body doesn't want to have it every day. It's very clear. And this has taken a long time to realize that, but using it intentionally and very minimally. And I think this goes for all drugs, all plant medicines, using it intentionally and you know, minimally, and with intention. And then, you know, it serves you rather than you becoming a servant to it, which, you know, I'm referring to like more being dependent or addicted to it. So yeah, it's very interesting how this works, even with like, it's like tobacco. Like if you look at the more like indigenous like tribes using tobacco ceremonially, and it's being used intentionally, and then it can have very powerful, transformative, useful effects. But in our culture, all we know is the addictive part, and so, you know, tobacco is bad, right? So it's the way that you use it, and and how you use it, and it can be very, very helpful. So those are my thoughts, and using caffeine purposefully and intentionally and minimally can have major transformative effects. And yeah, try it yourself. All right, talk to you later. Bye.